As religious sectors take part in various prayer festivals, we take you to Tongaat now, near Durban, where Hindus are observing Kavady. This annual pilgrimage is observed to repent for one's sins. Karinda Jagmohan is there and joins us now live. Karinda, thank you for making time for us. What's been happening there?
Indeed. Good day to you. Well, you can hear the religious music that's playing out, and my colleague Lungelo Zungu will show you the chariots in the distance. Now, for the better part of this morning, various worshippers gathered at a sports ground where they began their various prayers. Among this includes falling into a sort of trance where they try and show or prove their worship to the God they believe in and poke themselves with needles as well. Of course, like you mentioned, it's a religious weekend across South Africa for various religions, and this is indeed one of them. So I'm just going to grab one of the devotees. Mandy, thanks for speaking to us. Tell us about the significance of this particular prayer in Tongaat and the reason why there's thousands of people here today.
Okay, it is Lord Muruga's festivities, and it comes during the month of Pangani, and it is one of the biggest events in the southern hemisphere. In fact, in comparison to what happens in India, the Break Village Alayam Kavady festival is about the biggest in the southern hemisphere. It is the day when devotees take their vows to overcome their pains and their suffering, and they take on the streets carrying the Kavady for Lord Muruga and withstanding all temperatures and whatever to overcome their pain.
My colleague Lungelo will show the devotees pulling the chariots, and while he does so, tell me, I saw earlier people were poking themselves with needles as well. What does that signify?
Okay, that is the height of their faith for Lord Muruga, and they get into a trance. Some of them just do plain faith pinning and not just during their trance. And this, as the years go by and their faith increases, they increase the number of pins. They first start off with the pins in their tongue and their cheeks, and then they slowly get onto the body and they increase the number of pins.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Lungelo, let's just come to the side so we can show our viewers the chariot as it passes. So it's quite a heavy chariot. You see the devotees are pulling with their rope as well. We're not going to disturb them as they do their prayer, but I want to take you a bit further to show you some of those who have fallen into this trance and are essentially pinned with needles, and they have coconuts as well that's pinned onto their body by thread. And like the lady mentioned, this is one of the biggest such festivals in the southern hemisphere. So this prayer of Kavady, which is a southern Indian festival essentially, happens across the country at various times of the year, but this is the biggest. And why it's significant historically for people from who are descendants of those who came from India, it's historical for them is because the specific temple that they're about to go to around the corner, that temple was established by a group of indentured laborers when they landed in South Africa in the 1800s. Of course, that's the history of the group that came here from India on various ships as well. They were brought here by the British at that time for the purpose of indentured laboring, and they brought with them their scriptures as well. Let's stand to the side because this is actually what we wanted to show you as well, which you can see there, a gentleman who is pinned as well. He's carrying the chariot at the top. We'll just slightly go to the side here. So it's all about loud music, saying the name of their gods as well, and carrying those large palanquins that's adorned with flowers, and you can see it's essentially to show their worship to the God that they have. So you see the gentleman who's dancing now, he has needles pinned around him, and this is to show the strength of his worship he has. He's falling into a trance after a number of various prayers he did, and when we spoke to the devotees earlier, they said this doesn't hurt for them because of the trance that they're experiencing. So later on, we'll also speak to the devotees. Essentially, they've carried these palanquins from a sports ground a couple of kilometers away, and they're about to end up at a temple here, that historic temple I've been telling you about, to lay the planquins before the God that they believe in and ask for assistance. They want to repent for their sins, but also they want to ask for assistance with the burdens that they have. Quite interesting to see such different religions taking place over this weekend, but all ultimately citizens on the ground asking for help from the powers that be.
Karinda Jagmohan live to us from KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you. As she mentions, a number of religious events and activities taking place this weekend.